Cameron.
Palomino.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Thanks for taking the time to meet with me today. Really appreciate it.
Of course. May I sit down?
Yeah, absolutely. Cool.
Thank you.
Good catch there.
So, from what I understand, before I forget my business card.
Oh, great. Thank you. Appreciate that.
So, from what I understand, we have 10 minutes for this meeting?
Yes, that'd be great.
Okay. Will Ms. Pat McNiff be joining us today?
No, it'll just be me. I'm going to be reporting back up to them afterwards. Basically, what I'm doing is I'm acquiring research about the various products that are available to help solve some of the problems that we're currently seeing with our website.
Okay.
And then I'll be reporting back to Pat.
Okay, perfect. So, just out of curiosity, do you guys have the day off tomorrow at SPO? For Wednesday?
Unfortunately not. I'll be in here bright and early,
Okay.
sadly.
Same.
Do you have the day off?
No, we do not.
If only.
Gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah.
So, just to get on the business side of things, I have some questions to ask you. I want to know if that was okay.
Yeah,
I actually
absolutely.
also take notes.
Yep, that'd be fine.
Okay, perfect. So, from my understanding, you contacted Acquia.
Well, sort of. So our friends over at Lightwave actually mentioned that Acquia has a product that could, again, potentially help us with some of the problems that we're facing. So Lightwave referred us over, and then, we filled out a contact me form from your website.
Could you tell me a little bit about the problems you guys are facing?
Yeah, absolutely. So SBO.com is really one of the worldwide leaders in sports news. We have about 500 million page views per month with about 100 million unique visitors. Those are really great statistics. We're definitely very happy with that, but we're noticing a trend where those stats are starting to dwindle and they're starting to go down, and that's obviously something that we don't want. What we think is happening is that a lot of these regional news markets, let's say from Boston, people are going to these websites because they're from that area to get information about the sports teams that they're interested in, as opposed to coming to our site and seeing, just a broad span of all sports and all teams. They want to just get information about their team, their favorite players. They don't want to see stuff that's happening in LA if they're from Boston. They don't want to see stuff happening in Florida if they're from New York. So we're losing out to those marketplaces because they're more regionally focused on content, and we're trying to figure out a way to solve this problem right now.
Okay, so definitely viewership is important to you.
Yes, viewership is extremely important. So page views, unique visitors, subscriptions, those are all things that we can then turn around to advertisers and say, here's what we've got and here's how much we're going to charge you for this ad space because of how valuable it is to them.
Okay, so where do you guys see yourself in the future?
Ideally trending upward, not where we're at right now. We don't like the downward trend. We want to be back at the top. We're still right there, but we always want to be moving up.
Okay.
Ideally, to put it simply, if we could find a way to reach each region, specifically and personalize content for those individuals, I think I could take those stats and then ideally have it increase those KPIs I mentioned earlier. Show my boss that, and I can go home a happy guy at night.
Okay. So how do you feel about a platform that is designed to increase profits as well as meet your customer needs?
It sounds definitely interesting.
Okay. So can I tell you a little bit about Acquia?
Yeah, I'd really appreciate that.
All right. So Acquia Lift is a technology that is embedded into whatever platform you guys are using currently, and it uses cookies to help track what users are doing on your site. So whether they're, like you said, and if they're in Boston, they don't want to see things from LA or anything. So it uses those cookies to give them more relevant content, to show them all the things that they want to see based on their region, their zip code, wherever it is that they're at, and whatever it is that they're doing. We can even track their purchase history to show them more relevant things like that as well. And if you have any other questions for me that I could answer for you?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, everything you just said was really, really interesting, and I'd like to dive a little bit more into some of those points. So you mentioned that it just kind of clicks into the current site that I have. So what would, I guess, the implementation time around that be? We really can't afford to, our web team's so strapped trying to produce all these stories. We really don't have time to focus on this initiative, although it's so important to us. Like, what would that look like from an implementation standpoint?
So you're worried about the installment time, right?
Yeah.
All right. Well, typically it takes about 2 to 3 days plus training for those who will be using the program. It's not something that is not going to be working with you. It'll be in your office. It'll be with your current hardware or hard drives. We install it. We teach you how to use it, and then we stay with you, and so you can learn how to use it, and your other technicians can also use it as well.
Oh wow, that's awesome. That's I think that would be really helpful. So what you're saying is theoretically, if I was to sign off on this today, in 2 to 3 days, I could have it up and live, and ideally seeing some of those results that you talked about earlier.
Typically, yes.
Wow, that's awesome. So obviously, this isn't a free software, and we don't actually have a budget set aside for this.
Okay.
What does the cost standpoint look like for Uplift?
Well, that depends. You're worried about cost, but can I speak to you a little bit more about what the return on investment would be for that?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Well, typically we like to tell our customers that we can promise them, a 3 times, 5 times return on investment on what it is that you're putting into it.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't want you to focus too much on what the cost of the product is, more on how many subscription increases it's going to have, how many click-through rates it will increase. If I can tell you a little bit about our current customers.
Yeah, that would actually be great.
Right. So currently for Toronto Life, they experienced a 4 times increase in subscriptions, an 8 times improvement in click-through rates, and a 20% increase in page views, with more recommended content and offers.
Yep.
And then for French Health Magazine as well, they're experiencing over a 20% click-through rate improvement with content.
Wow,
Content,
those are some really powerful numbers, and I'd love to learn a little bit more about that. Do you have any sort of demo that you could show me? So if those numbers are correct and you could guarantee similar results for my site, that would be instrumental in our future success.
Absolutely. And you said that in this Pat McNiff school you're going to be
yes, ultimately I'll be reporting this information back up to her, yeah.
So if you could sponsor me for another meeting with Ms. Pat McNiff, I would love to set that up.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd definitely be able to do that.
All right, perfect. Thank
Great.
you.
Awesome. That sounds good. Thank you so much for meeting with me today.